acquisition, and there have been a few others. Jeff Hoffman, notably, the team's new closer, and Max Scherzer, the future Hall of Famer, signed a one-year deal. Battling some thumb issues this spring, so something to keep an eye on. But all in, I think the Jays are pretty content with where they're at heading into the new campaign.
Okay, so I'm keeping my Vladimir shirt. Oh, I said, all right. Are there any notable? Well, I mean, first base, right? He's such a good player. Anyways, that's a personal taste here. Are there any notable changes in Major League Baseball this season?
Well, last season, of course, players still adjusting to a lot of the big changes MLB introduced, notably pitch clock, bigger bases, then the infield shift. So it certainly has improved the pace of play around the major leagues and just made it, in my opinion, a more entertaining product. Moves along a little quicker. It's, I think, all good. That being said, this year, no major changes, just a couple little tweaks. And what they are doing is a trial run of what they call the ABS challenge system, which is similar to tennis, where they use that Hawkeye technology to determine whether a tennis ball is in or out, whether it catches part of the line. This is similar in baseball, and they're just trying it in 60% of games this spring. But same kind of thing, the pitcher throws the ball, and you can challenge whether or not you think it's a ball or a strike, and they use similar technology to put that graphic up on the screen at the facilities, or of course on television if you're watching at home. So an interesting little wrinkle. Each team has 2 challenges, and it's something that won't be introduced this season. Just this trial run could be introduced in 2026 or farther down the road. Kind of depends how the feedback goes when MLB takes that in.
That's interesting. Given the Blue Jays are the only Major League Baseball team in Canada, do you think that there's an extra level of pressure this season?
I think there's extra pressure this season, but it stems from the fact that Toronto finished last in the American League East last season. They had a very disappointing 74-80 league record, and they're looking to get back into the playoff mix. They enjoyed wild card round appearances in 3 or 4 years before last year's disappointment. So they know they can do it. This team is in win-now mode. Appears to have many of the pieces they need in place to go not only reach the playoffs, but they're hoping they can go on a run once they get there. So now it's a matter of staying healthy and for the bats that were so quiet last year to become loud again. Guys like Bo Bichette, George Springer, Dalton Varsho. These are guys who underperformed for a variety of reasons last year. The Blue Jays need their core players to return to form, and the one player, your favorite, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., to have another strong season. He's been their heart and soul in recent years, and he's in a contract year now, as you probably know, and will be motivated to perform. So just a fascinating few months here ahead of the trade deadline. We'll see what this team can do.
All right, we will be watching, that's for sure. I know I'm asking this question in the context that it's just spring training now. I shouldn't say just, but it is spring training now. Tensions at sport events, I mean, between American and Canadian teams, they've been a theme, at least in hockey. Have you seen any evidence of tension so far?
I was down in Dunedin, Florida for a couple of weeks to take in the camp, and there were player workouts and training sessions going on at that time, and it seemed totally normal. Nothing as far as preseason tension in Dunedin, now that the preseason is well underway at TD Ballpark down there. But I suspect that the Bluebirds will be out when the regular season begins on March 27th, and the Blue Jays host the Baltimore Orioles. We've seen it around the sports world around the continent, really, but most notably in Canada, at NHL rinks, NBA games with the Toronto Raptors. We've seen it now with Major League Soccer as well. The Star Spangled Banner being booed regularly as this Canada-U.S. tension just seems to hit a higher level almost by the day. I would expect more of the same as the Blue Jays begin their season. That being said, what will be different is there'll be a lot more fans in the venue. Hockey, of course, usually in the 16 to 20,000 range as far as spectators. Baseball is over 2 times that, so it could be fascinating to see just how loud the fans get, and also how loud the singing about Canada will be. That's also something that's
Let's take a look at maybe longer into the baseball season. Do you anticipate there being any major moves by by teams and noticeable trades?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting trade deadline period for the Blue Jays once you get into that mid-late July zone. It's just a matter of whether they can play in the first half, which direction they go. Will there be a lot of trades like there were last season at the deadline? If the Blue Jays are underperforming, I would expect a significant sell-off of their top players and aging veterans and players in contract years, because you want to get something in return. You want to get those young prospects, young players. You don't want to lose players to free agency for virtually nothing. So if the season starts slowly, you could see that happen. If the Blue Jays are in the mix for being a contender, going on a run, then they could be buyers at the trade deadline. So obviously too early to tell now, but we'll see come May, June what this team's all about and where they go from there in July.
Greg, such a great chat. Thank you for coming on Breakaway today.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Greg Strong. He's a sports reporter at the Canadian Press. I'm enjoying producer Julia Page's choice of music on this beautiful day. Today is St. Patrick's Day, of course, bringing you some classic Irish tunes there.